Hey everybody, welcome back to Quali-Tea time. So, it's a new month, which means rewards for the Patreon have thankfully refreshed, which means anybody that has an audio request can request it, anybody that has a VFX request can request it. I have done a bit of work on one of those, but it was a bit wide scope, so it's taking me a bit to run through. But mostly, the thing that's happening this particular month with the Patreon is the patron server is rolling over. So, Spring Realms hasn't really been updated since somewhere in the region of February. A whole ton of things got in the way of that, and it has been discussed, it has been voted upon, and consequently the decision has been made that Spring Realms will be closing before the end of its natural lifetime. Upcoming soon on the weekend, we will be having a big server event where every single currently locked home island is going to be unlocked for people to play around in, and then sometime in the region of January, we'll be having our new map coming up, which is currently under the name of New Helena, but we'll see how long that sticks. Other than that, the main bit of news kind of relates to me. If I seem a bit awkward, it's because this is not exactly the easiest conversational topic for me just yet. Basically, if you've been watching Edging, you know I've been thinking about my gender expression for a whole ton of time. My gender is still very much male. I'm still very much a he-him kind of guy. That much I am absolutely certain on. There's not the slightest bit of dysphoria related to that. How'd I put this? I've been racking my brain for a while, trying to figure out exactly what my gender expression ideal is, which is to say, the kind of dude I'd like to look like. This has been incredibly unstable for a very long while, more or less since I started thinking about it, actually, and probably quite a while before that as well. And sometimes it was wholly feminine characteristics, sometimes it was wholly masculine ones. I've been increasingly dissatisfied with the fact that basically every single piece of masculine fashion is making you into some form of rectangle. There's just no curvature there, it's plain and boring and ugh. Like, there's no variation there, it seems, at least not as far as I can tell, unless you go to, like, a big catwalk or something and have to pay exorbitant fees for something that you definitely can't that you definitely can't wear down into town or something. And there's been one particular archetype that's been kind of running through this, and I've been buying the odd piece of clothing to try and expand my wardrobe and get a better fix on what that ideal is, and it is rather irritatingly the body type most frequently attributed to the witch in the woods. So, I'll have a few pieces of fan art up on the screen here for you guys to check this out, and basically the witch is quite often described in sort of androgyny. They generally tend to have a decently masculine kind of look to them, but very frequently as well, they'll have their painted nails, they'll have their shaved legs, they'll have curvatures, hips, in some occasions they even have breasts, or at least defined, clear breasts, but either way, or at least the subtle implication of breasts, which sounds like some kind of feminist textbook. The subtle implication of breasts. Basically, it's becoming more and more plausible, I'm going to say, that body type is basically the body type that I actually would like to have, that I would actually be comfortable having. And things still vary day to day, like the exact extent of what traditionally classically feminine characteristics do I want to actually have rather than mingle with, for want of a better expression. That shifts still quite a bit, but the basic, the general overall arc kind of again, this is not the easiest thing to discuss. The platform, the basis, the foundational, I guess, is basically what the witch looks like a lot of the time. I don't think there's tails and ears involved, not yet at least, but more curves, definitely on the list there. I'd like to keep facial scruff and whatnot, because it's taken me damn long to actually, like, get that, and it's actually in a state now where I can shape it to a form that I actually really like. I don't necessarily think that would go well with some of the fashion choices I'd like to be exploring down the road, but it's something I like to have, so that's probably sticking around. But that is the main crux of the reason I'm bringing this up here, is I have a better idea of the form I would like to take, and that means that going forwards there's going to quite probably be some instances where I'm not looking quite as manly as you might previously have seen me. So I may be wearing significantly more shapely outfits. I may be wearing quite a few outfits that are intended by the fashion designer more for the feminine side of society, and there may be some augmentations in the course of that give me a shape that is not a rectangle. Much as I decry the dull and blandness of masculine fashion, there's a reason it's mostly a rectangle. So yeah, I thought that would be important to mention. For those keeping score, I am still a guy, my pronouns are still he, him. I just might not look like the classical, traditional picture of masculinity going forwards. But it's still me, it still sounds like me, it's presumably still going to be associated with Fox, so stick with that. And with that, onto the schedule. Upcoming streams for the week: on Thursday 11 PM GMT we have Midnight Squad, where we're continuing with XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. Last time we rescued a skirmisher friend who's voiced by Michael Dorn, so things can only go up. Then on Saturday 9 PM GMT we're having The Coaster. We are down a member for basically the rest of the month. Can the team pull back from their perennial plummet? Probably not, but we're gonna try anyways. And lastly, on Tuesday at 9 PM GMT, we have Young Dwarves Live. Yay! And videos you might have missed for the week. We have an episode of Edgington, where I'm talking about seasonal changes and sleep upsets, because I do not deal with season changes very well. And of course we have some episodes of Factoria with Strife, episodes 24 to 26. The boys are in dire need of more oil, partially for lubricants, but it's going to require a fungal assault on the locals to get it. This is gonna hurt. New episodes Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And on to the questions. As always, these are drawn from the comment section of the preceding vlog. If you have anything to ask me, drop it down below. I'm expecting a spate of gender expression kind of questions now, but we'll see. Okay, right. Well, I guess you better get those in, because we are out of questions. So, hope you've all enjoyed. Apologies for the no Q's and A's there. Hopefully the gender discussion at the start there makes up for it a bit. Again, this is not... It's not the easiest thing to talk about, but I'm very willing to talk about it. I exist in some non-zero position of power, and therefore, like, it's sort of necessary, it's behooven. I am duty-bound to discuss these topics in a frame that people can consume and understand and expand their horizons a little bit. So I have a functional obligation to serve as some degree of educator where I can. So yeah, Q's and A's about gender, let me know. I can't claim to be an expert, but I can tell you what I know. Other than that though, that's it for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed, and I shall catch you all, as always, next time.